September 10th, 2025. Okay, so first things first, let me know your thoughts on today's new episode down below. Also, did y'all see it? Because it cut off. Now, I thought yesterday when they dropped the promo or the preview for today's episode, Drew was telling somebody that he knows that they're the one who shot him. I didn't see that on today's episode. I did not see that on today's episode during his conversation with Curtis. The last person that I seen come in was Willow. I think the last scene that I saw was she came in, she shut the blinds or whatever, and he woke up, and that was it. That was it. So I was like, where the rest of the episode at? But yeah, I'm gonna just do this review. I don't know if they're gonna re-air it tomorrow or somebody gonna upload it later, but yeah. I said, look, I don't know who to start with, because Kai and Trina. Now we've been talking, when he ran to Drew and told, what he knew and stuff like that, and we were saying how he snitched. He'll snitch, stuff like that. But Trina snitched too. I said, why would you lady, what good did it do to destroy evidence if you run around telling folks? I was like, why would you tell her that? She done told Emma that her mama changed test results. I said, and that's exactly why they didn't tell you Dilly Freaking Squad now. I said, that's exactly why they didn't tell you nothing now, good. Why would you go tell Emma? You don't know who Emma gonna tell. You have no idea who she gonna tell or slip up and tell or anything like that. Why would you say anything? Why would you say anything? That don't make sense. I was like, that's why Kai and her together. Or they was together anyway, both on snitches. Why would you incriminate your mama? I mean, she destroyed the evidence, though. But okay, so in today's new episode, who we gonna start with? Willow and Chase. Chase needs to stay out her face. Stop trying to help her, stop trying to save her. He ends up asking Willow if she's still planning on getting back with Drew, but I don't know, did she ever answer him? She told Elizabeth that since the judge is dead and Reek don't left town, that Drew is her only hope of getting her kids back. And I said, yep, she finna go on and get back with him. She about to go on and get back with him. And when she was talking to Elizabeth, she said something about she hate him. She hate Drew. And I was like, she the one who did it, y'all. I said, I feel like Michael gonna get arrested. I feel like out of everybody, he'll be the one to get arrested. Because, look, his alibi, he don't know what she gonna say. Hold on. He don't know what she's going to say. She could take the money. If he pay her, she could take the money and still say that, she wasn't his alibi. She left at a certain time or something like that. I say, When they showed the flashback of him in the car and stuff like that, I thought they was going to show him seeing who did it. I thought they was going to show him seeing who did it. But yeah, I was like, look, this going to continue, y'all. It's definitely going to continue. Like I said, the last thing I saw was Willow going. Drew had asked Kai to tell Willow that, he wanted to see her. She came in, she shut the blinds and everything, and he woke up, and that was it. I was like, I thought he was telling somebody, I know that you the one who did it. I didn't see him say that. But yeah, I think they said it was a news report that interrupted or something like that. But yeah, Chase asked Willow if she still planning on getting back with Drew. Elizabeth ends up telling Lucas that she may have info on Carly. And he was like, Carly wouldn't do that. She was like, I'm not going to go to the police station, but if they question me, I'm going to have to tell. I was like, girl, but she got an alibi, Brennan. She got Brennan, so she'll be okay. I think out of everybody, Michael would be the one to get arrested. Then Diane, I knew yesterday when she was representing Alexa, I remember it was one case that she had, and she had to represent somebody. I think it was what was the dude, the crazy dude, the police dude, the agent, FBI agent, was that him? When she was representing Alexis or somebody and she couldn't represent Sonny? I don't know, it was some case, y'all. Well, yeah, I knew yesterday, but I wasn't expecting them to send him. I said, when they showed... When Marco came in, I said, Michael, you going to jail? I said, you going to jail. Then he gonna tell Michael, like, when he see Jacinda or whatever, they need to have a meeting together. He was like, he appreciate what he did, but he gonna handle it. I said, you better. Because he the one that got us. He the one that sit up here and told Drew the information about the $1 million in the first place, snitch. But yeah, when they showed Marco come in, I said, Michael, you going to jail? I said, why was y'all sitting here? Like, I think they only got, it's Diane, Alexis, and Marco. Ain't they the only three, though? But I'm sure that he could have found some lawyer to represent him. I was like, Michael, you go to jail. But aside from that, Lulu was telling Carly about Brandon and how he wants Charlotte to see Valentine and stuff like that. By the end of their conversation, she still didn't want to do it. So Brandon went to Nina. I said, what's she supposed to do? I think he kind of want her to tell Charlotte. He said he want Nina to work on Lulu and try to convince her and stuff like that. But I feel like he wants her to tell Charlotte. But she was like, no, she not going to do that. And then he ends up mentioning how her and her daughter Willow going to need his help. Hold on. How they both going to need his help because of the whole Drew situation and stuff like that. And I was like, so do he know who did it? He know everything else. Do he know who did it? So she started looking over there at Michael when he left and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, she finna get ready to tell. Because by the end of Carly and Lulu's conversation, I'm going to say situation. By the end of their conversation, she was like, she hear her and she respect her and stuff like that, but that's her daughter and she gonna do what's best. I said, so you gonna lose both your kids, huh? Because Brie about to come back and it's finna be some trouble there too. I said, so you about to lose both your kids, huh? Excuse me. Excuse me. What else? Let's see. I already said Brandon met with Nina and he wanted her help. Marco represented Michael. He did good, but he still, you don't work with the enemy. What the world going on? Portia wishes that she stayed in bed with Isaiah. He told me so he was ready to see where things go, and she was like she would too if it wasn't for her daughter. And I said, so you finna live a lie too, huh? You finna keep lying. This was the reason why you and your husband going through it now, because you keep lying and you want to lie some more. Make it make sense. People saying that she gonna be pregnant, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked at this point. She's talking about some, but no, my daughter. I see your daughter grown. What the world? Just divorce Curtis and be with him. He already said how he want Jordan, which he do. He may not realize it yet, but he do. But yeah, I was like, so you got in this situation by lying. You lied about him having a daughter. Now you lied about Drew blackmailing and stuff like that, which didn't make sense. I'm gonna say this every time. It didn't make sense because you already told about the test results being switched. So why wouldn't you tell about Brad and then about Drew? That don't make sense. But yeah, what else? During that scene, like I said, he wanna take things to the next level. She was like she would too if it wasn't for her daughter. So I'm assuming she about to live a lie. She about to live a lie until she can't live that lie no more. She gonna get exposed once again. I said all she do is lie. That's what they brought her on the show for, the lie. I'm like, yeah, that she'll never get tired of lying. What the world? Well, yeah, what else? Let's see. Kai and Trina was talking about Drew waking up and wondering if he saw them. And I said, they still ain't got the results back. I said, that's going to switch things up, ain't it? Once they see the fingerprints. Once they see the Kai fingerprints, I don't know if they're going to see Trina fingerprints or not. But yeah, once they see that, that's going to switch things up. And might as well get that out the way too. So Kai was like, he got to go see Drew because it's going to look suspicious if he don't. So he went. He asked him to go to his house and go to in his safe or whatever and get everything out and bring it to him. He's trying to get the doggone evidence that Portia switched the test results. Excuse me. So he's like, no, I can't do that. That's a crime scene. The police going to be suspicious or whatever. I just can't do it. I'm not comfortable with that. He's like, okay, then maybe it's something else you could do. So that's when he went and told Willow that he wanted to see her or whatever. And like I said, that was the last scene when she went in the hospital room and he woke up or he seen her or whatever. What else? Let's see. I already said Brandon won't need her to work on Lulu. Lulu don't want to open old wounds with the whole Charlotte Valentine situation. She was glad she was glad when he went to jail. I said, that don't change nothing. She crazy about her papa. I already said Portia tells Isaiah that it can never happen again or whatever. And he was holding on her hand and stuff. I said, this ain't over. This isn't over. I was still hoping that Curtis came in. I said, see, Curtis, that's your problem. That's why you going through it now with your wife. You don't never do no pops-ups or nothing. Pops-ups. You don't never do no pops-up or nothing. I still said it wrong. You don't never do no pop-up or nothing. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, what else? I was like, look, every time they together, I'm like, walk in. That's why she want to leave you now. That's why she want to, well, I ain't going to say she wanted to leave him, but obviously she landed up with another man. So she should have stayed in bed with him and all this other stuff. Girl, please. Lucas is updating Drew saying that there could be long-term effects, but he tested out and he not paralyzed, y'all. Nothing wrong with him. Still the evil person that he is. What else? Let's see. I already said Nina didn't want to help. Elizabeth tells Willow that it's unclear when Rick will be back. And she also said how it's unlike Rick. The way that he messaged them, it's unlike him. Willow started freaking out because, her case, and she want her kids back. I said, she definitely finna go be with Drew now. She definitely finna go get back with him now. Chase ends up questioning Curtis, or tries to, but he was like, no. The next time he questioned him, he gonna have his lawyer, so he looks suspicious too. I said, they gonna play the guessing game for another 2 weeks, ain't it? Another 2-3 weeks. But yeah, I could definitely see, once again, I could see Michael being arrested. Look, Michael, your alibi ain't gonna hold up. Something gonna happen. I said, Michael gun jail. They don't send Marco in here. But yeah, what else? Let's see. Trina and Kai. I said Trina and Kai perfect for each other, just snitching and stuff. She told Emma that Portia changed some of test results. And she told who it was. I was like, girl, why you... That didn't make no sense. Let's see. Willow said she would need Drew by her side, so she finna get ready to be with him. What else happened? We already talked about Drew and Kai. Carly said that if Charlotte finds out that Valentine wanted to see her and Lulu didn't say anything, she gonna be mad, she gonna be upset. And she still said she ain't gonna tell nothing. I said, Lulu. But then again, Even when she find out the hard way, she still, it's, you know how they be like, when you know better, you do better. But a lot of people be knowing better and they still don't do better. That's Lulu. That is Lulu. Hold on. That's definitely Lulu. The last thing I wrote down was that Brandon offers to help Nina and Willow or whatever. He was saying how she gonna need him. Her and her daughter gonna need him or whatever. But yeah, I think the last thing that I saw was Willow going into Drew hospital room, closing the blinds, and then he looked up or whatever. But they didn't show the part, unless I missed it, where he was like, I know it was you that shot me or whatever. They didn't show that part. I don't know if they made a mistake or it was because of the news, the special report they said happened or what. But yeah, that's it, y'all. Let me know y'all thoughts. If y'all seen the episode down below, stay tuned for the next review. Until next time, deuces, have a great rest of the day and be safe.